Hey everyone, welcome to Keeping It Real. I'm Mickey Shelton and I'm with Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing today?
Doing real good. Had a break last week because we were traveling back from California.
Yes, it was. I remember that. I've never done this before, but I went to Lake Washington to watch the Blue Angels like literally fly over my head. And it was the most incredible experience I've ever seen. And I mean, they were like, they were super crazy loud. I mean, like literally I was covering my ears because they were so incredibly loud. I've seen them fly by Bremerton and stuff before, like by my house, but I've never been like where they're like literally zooming over top of my head. Um,
Yeah.
it was kind of a unique and different experience. So if you haven't done that, you should definitely, I highly recommend it. If you can get out by the water and stuff. And they were throwing like water balloons. It was a lot of fun. But one thing that was super cool is that an eagle flew over right about the same time that the planes were flying by.
Oh,
And so they kind
wow.
of crossed paths. So it was just kind of a really cool thing. So anyway, all right,
That's
let's jump into it today. We are talking about radon. And we talked about asbestos. We talked about lead-based paint the 2 weeks that you were gone, and just kind of some of the dangers and what it is and how you get it into your home. And last time we learned a little bit about lead was kind of and asbestos both were kind of 1978. They were part of building materials, and they really were kind of something that was put into our environments. I mean, lead is like naturally occurring, obviously too, so you get it in other ways as well. But, like with lead-based paint and stuff like that, it was the paint that was being made with the lead. Today, we're going to talk about radon, and it's a little bit different because this is really just a natural occurring radioactive gas that's just formed when uranium starts decaying, and it starts breaking down a little bit. And so it just kind of it's an odorless. You can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't see it. You really don't even know it's there. But it can cause some issues. So we're going to learn about how it gets trapped into our environments. So you can see it kind of goes through cracks on the thing here. And so we're going to learn more about that. So why is it dangerous? Any ideas?
Well, it says right there, it could cause lung cancer, which is pretty scary.
It is, and it is actually the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States right now, right after smoking. And if you're smoking, you're at like a 10, I think it was a 10 times, 10 higher. You have a 10 times higher risk of getting lung cancer if you're a smoker than if you're not. So, or I'm not saying this right. The risk of lung cancer is 10 times higher for smokers than non-smokers that are exposed to the same radiant levels. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're smoking, you should definitely quit. My PSA for today.
Regardless of radon.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It gets into your lungs, and it's not a good thing. And okay, so let's move on. Thankfully, this is like kind of a short one, but I think it's some great news today. I mean, great information though.
It is. I learned a lot.
Yeah. So we talked about how, and one of the things is I know with like real estate, I know like in Nebraska, for instance, they talk about it more. I haven't heard a whole lot of talk among the real estate here. It's kind of, I don't know. I mean, here on the East Coast a lot. I mean, I've seen like with my different net groups and my different talks that I'm in, it seems to be a lot more like people will test a lot more in other areas than they necessarily do here. I don't know why, because we're going to find out why you probably should, but let's continue on and we'll just keep doing this. But it's natural occurring. It comes from like the rocks and stuff like that. So it's like, if your house is on like a slab or something like that and there's cracks, it can come up from the ground and into your house. And usually it's on the lower levels. Okay, so we talked about that. Then they talked about how to measure it. And so you have to get a test. I mean, you can't, like I said, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. There's not a whole lot you can do. So you really have to get a test, and we'll go through those in a little bit. But when they do these tests, and there's different types of tests, but you really want a 4 PCI/L, which is a piocurlus or something like that per liter. I don't know how you say that word, but I hate talking like words I don't know because this is not medic or like, chemistry stuff. This is not my forte, but but you want it. It's like if it's between 2 and 4, a lot of times you really kind of like, you should probably think about maybe getting some more testing done or finding out where this stuff is coming into. And usually at 4 levels of 4 and stuff like that, that's when if you're doing a home inspection and you're getting a radon test done, that's really when you probably want to see more what you can do to stop that from happening. So, okay. So let's continue on. So how does it get into the house? So we kind of talked about it. Like I said, it's just kind of stuff breaking down. I mean, it's just like rocks and dirt and things when they bump up against each other and they break down, and they do that so they can get into cracks. They can go through the floors. They come in through the vents. They can even come in through pipes, like wells sometimes too. Wells aren't usually as common, but it can still happen. You can still get radon into wells. So, okay, where do you test and how do you do this? Any ideas, Carrie?
Usually on the lower levels, like you said, it's usually found at the lower levels because it's something that comes up from the ground.
Right. And you don't want to do it in moist environments. You don't want to do it like if you've got a kitchen on the lower level, you don't want to put down there a bathroom or a laundry room. You really want it where it's dry, where you're going to get the best reading. And the longer they test for it, it usually gives you a more accurate versus a shorter test. I mean, there's shorter tests, there's longer tests. The shorter the test is, the least accurate it could be. So you really want to have a longer test and leave it for, a couple days to get that test done correctly. So take your time and try not to rush through it. Make sure if you have a broker representing you that they're not rushing through that, because you really want to make sure that it's a safe level, because it can cause issues.
Definitely.
Okay. How do you fix it? Well, let's see here.
You have those cracks.
Right? Cover up those cracks so that it can't come in from the outside. That's really probably one of the best ways to do it. And you can do it yourself, but I would strongly suggest having a professional do it, just to make sure that it's not something you really want to mess with, especially when it gets a higher level. And really the EPA says that there's no level that's really safe. So even like the 2 to 4 is not really safe, but it's, when it gets up into that 2s and 4s, you really, really want to try to make sure that it's taken care of. So if you're getting a higher reading like that, it's probably a better idea to let a professional handle it, especially if you're looking at buying a home.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that to stay in your home. It's better always to trust a professional when it comes to things like that.
Yep. And you can also get through like sump pumps, foundation walls. If you've got like a dirt floor, like a crawl space, they come in through there. So there's all kinds of places that you can get this, get radon coming into your home. So
yeah, and like on this one, it's great in those crawl spaces where there is dirt to lay plastic on top of it. You can also use ventilation just to make sure those gases are going out, but you just want to trap it however you can so that it doesn't rise up into your home for sure.
Exactly, because it's not a good thing. So make sure that, the pipes and stuff like that, just kind of make sure that they're sealed and there's no cracks and it's not getting into your water supply as much as you can. But I would really have a professional do it. Test your water if you're on a well. That's probably one of the best things you can do, is just kind of get the information. And when you get your well tested, to find out what's in it, find out if it has radon and how much. Sometimes water treatment systems can help reduce it as well. And then why use professionals? Well, mainly because they have training and they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, right?
Seriously, I know about this stuff because I study it, and I just took a class on this actually and stuff. But I wouldn't trust myself to go try to fix that. I don't know what kind of materials to use or what would stop it and what would be the best solution. So call your professionals. That's probably the best solution I would give you.
Yeah, and also I'm sure that they use PPE, which is that protective gear, because if you are in those situations, you're exposing yourself to more of the gas if you're actually at that level and you're not protecting yourself the right way. So they know how to make sure things are sealed off, that they're wearing the right protective gear, and they're avoiding as much of the gas as they can.
Right. And again, longer tests, if you can get a longer test, usually it's 90 days or better is the best you can do. That's because it really gives you a long-term assessment of what your levels are in your home. So You know, if it's low, maybe it was just low because, or maybe you're switching between seasons because seasons can affect it. Like if it's winter versus like spring or summer. So there's different things that can really affect those results. So having that long-term test and just kind of seeing what that is can give you a better idea. Make sure it's on the lowest livable area that you have in your home. Not a kitchen, not a bathroom, not where there's a lot of humid or drafts or any of that kind of stuff. You really want it kind of a sealed room that's airtight. Okay. What you can do, test your home. That's probably the most important thing is if you don't know and, you know, check it out. If you're a smoker, I mean, I would probably do it just because you got a double whammy against you. So do that. If it's a high level and you're getting like between a 2 and a 4, it's probably a good idea to start figuring out what you're going to do to figure out how to seal your cracks and make sure everything's great. So that way you don't have issues. And then share what you know to family and friends and keep everyone safe.
Sharing is caring.
It is. All right, you guys. So if you would like some more information, you can go ahead. I got the website up here on here that you can go there and they have a whole guide on radon and what you can do about it, and I'll answer a lot more questions if you've got questions. You can always reach out to Carrie or myself. Our numbers are on here. We're always happy to help and give you some more information as well. And that's all I have for today. Anything
great information and great topic.
All right. I don't know what we're doing next week. It's going to be a surprise, I guess. I'm going to be in Nebraska visiting my mom again for a week. So I'll be in Nebraska, but we will be doing another topic. It'll be fun next week. See you same time, same place, and have a great time. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.